now, the stock market just opened. It is headed down again today. Yesterday, one of the Dow's biggest losses since September, well before the Trump presidency. NASDAQ and S&P also had their worst days of the year.
Yeah, investors are showing that they are nervous that the president's pro-business agenda could be in danger. We want to talk to financial advisor Dennis Brewster about how this could continue. Let's talk about this. They're attributing a lot of this to what's happening with the Trump administration and what's happening in Washington. Do you agree with that? And what does this mean going forward? Do you think yesterday was isolated, or we're going to continue to see this?
Well, I think part of, or a good part of yesterday is the fact that since the 1st of November, right before the election, the Dow's moved almost 3,000 points without interruption. That's about a 17% gain. So that's not a sustainable pace, and we're bound to take a step back. And the markets have rallied, too, on a lot of the agenda that's being proposed. And if it looked like that was going to get sidetracked, you know, it was a recipe for a pullback.
So people at home watching, and they're worried about their 401ks, panic is almost never the advice for what they should do. What should people do then?
Well, I wouldn't let this distract from your long-term goals. And I think that's the key. On average, over the last 30 years, we've had a 14% pullback during the year. But if you go back to 1980 to today, somebody in the S&P 500 that reinvested, it's up 60-fold. So it's just, unfortunately, it's part of the territory. Don't let the short-term distractions keep you away from your long-term goals.
Yeah, that is always sound advice. And
you can never hear it enough.
The turmoil in Washington, D.C. isn't going to go away anytime immediately, right? There's investigations going on. So do you anticipate that will just continue to affect Wall Street?
To a certain extent, of course, they're making the case that we could be better off without Trump as president, that the agenda won't go away. And I think that's the big question. If it looks like that agenda, that pro-growth and the tax cuts are going to go away, that's different. Then the markets would be more vulnerable.
The old be patient, ride it out, because, you know, you could turn the page and tomorrow we wake up and the Dow is up 200 points. Who knows?
That's right.
Just hang in there.
Exactly.
Dennis, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.